The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
All right, well, some of the most well-known play-to-earn games out there are built on Ethereum, but what about Bitcoin? Well, it's Bitcoin's time to shine. My next guest is making that happen on the Lightning Network, a second layer or layer 2 on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. Joining us now to discuss is Desiree Dickerson, CEO and co-founder of Thunder Games. Hi, Desiree. Thanks for joining us. So just scoping out the environment out there, but how big is the current playing field for Bitcoin earning games?
It is still in its infancy. We are one of very few games companies that are focused solely on integrating Bitcoin into their games. So it is very early, and like most projects built on Bitcoin or companies working with Bitcoin, the Bitcoin technology is a little bit slower to evolve than others, which we consider a feature, not a bug. And so we, yes, might not have as big of a market as some of these other games on Ethereum or Solana or other blockchains, but I think the community that we are building is here to not only play to earn, but also play because the games are fun and they do derive value from playing the games outside of earning cryptocurrency.
So we're playing one of your games right now. It's called Bitcoin Bounce. So just tell us a bit about, what games have been built and that you're building right now.
Yeah, so right now we have 4 games, and they are both available in the App Store and in Google Play. They are all very simple play-to-earn games. All you do is go to one of the stores, download it, and just simply begin playing. And what you do is you play the game, and as you are now collecting these tickets as you bounce along these platforms, and those tickets enter you into a daily draw where you can earn Bitcoin. And really everyone earns Bitcoin at the end of the day. But again, the rewards are very small, and people are largely playing the games because they're fun. But we do want to reward our users for playing the games and engaging with our content and also creating their own content. And we do that simply through Satoshis, which, for those who aren't familiar, is a denomination of Bitcoin.
The smallest denomination of Bitcoin, right? So what's your most popular game? I see you just released one called SATSSS as well.
The one that is called SATSSS, which is SATSSS, is a throwback to the original mobile game, which I'm sure most folks are familiar with, which is the Nokia Snake game. So it is very retro, very simple, very straightforward, and you just play the classic Snake game. And this one really came about because we wanted a really simple way to show people what our company was all about, and that's just simply playing fun games and earning Bitcoin. And also a great way to explain what we're doing to investors, because most people get this. They love the nostalgia factor, and it's very simple to play, and you very simply earn. So SATSSS is very popular. Our most popular game right now is probably Thunder Bay, and that is just a really relaxing, fun, cute match 3 bubble shooter. You can kind of liken it to Candy Crush a bit, but or Bubble Witch. And so that one is, people seem to really like that one. They like the storyline behind it. And people seem to be just relaxing and stacking sats at the end of the day.
Nice. So how do we get to mass adoption? And I wonder what regions and demographics you're seeing that are taking to these games the most, because we see that one of the most popular play-to-earn games out there is Axie Infinity. The most, the country that has taken interest in it the most happens to be the Philippines and several countries in the rest of Southeast Asia. So I wonder, from a Bitcoin games perspective, where has that taken off?
Yeah, I think accessibility and reach is something that's really interesting in mobile, and it's something that we focus a lot on with our games in terms of like financial empowerment and access to Bitcoin. One of the things that I've thought a lot about in my past position at Lightning Labs and just in generally as a Bitcoiner is how do we bring Bitcoin to the world? Like, how do we get Bitcoin in the hands of every single person? And one of the main reasons that I joined Thunder Games was really through games is the easiest, most fun way to onboard people to Bitcoin. Like I said, you simply go to the App Store or Google Play. Everyone's downloaded an app. Most people have downloaded a mobile game. Most people's parents have downloaded a mobile game, and you download it and you simply play. And it just making accessibility to these games and to Bitcoin much easier. I love console games. I love PC gaming, but unfortunately there is a very high barrier to entry, whether that just be general access or, the affordability piece. But most people have smartphones. So we are able to reach these new emerging markets. Tons of our games, or not tons of our games, all of our games are very, very popular in Central and South America, but really throughout the world as well. But I think, we're seeing a lot of interest because of El Salvador and because of a lot of the interest just generally in kind of the Latin American regions, which has been really promising. And then also in terms of demographics, one number that's always really interested me from very early on at my time at Thunder is that mobile games, one of the fastest growing demographics for mobile games is women between the ages of 35 and 50. And I think we can all attest to that. We know someone in that demographic, myself included, where you can play games and it's super simple to do in your spare time. My mom does it. Many people do. And so if we can bring Bitcoin to that demographic who are largely underserved in the Bitcoin area, I think it's really, really powerful. If I can, I've onboarded, for instance, like my mother-in-law, who's in her 70s, she now is playing mobile games and is also a Bitcoiner. So it's really interesting way to, we have so many people who tell us, like, I earned my first Satoshi and I became a Bitcoiner through your games. And I think that's one thing that is really powerful about what we're doing is, we are bringing Bitcoin to the world through these simple yet really fun games.
Absolutely. Here's an interesting question. Why Bitcoin gaming and not blockchain gaming? Maybe you can explain to folks the difference.
Yeah, one thing I like to kind of push is, I think these Web3 kind of solutions and ideas and games are really, really fun. But as with everything with Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin aims to solve a lot of problems with one simple solution. And I think that's what's so beautiful about kind of Bitcoin. And that's really the elegance of like the entire system of what Bitcoin brings about. So for us, really, it's simply solving the problem that there is no true value in traditional gaming anymore. We have, kids who are playing Roblox and they're earning pointless currency and they're spending time in these games and they're not being rewarded. Yet these companies are profiting off of people who are creating content in the games or spending time in games. I mean, I know for myself, I remember playing Fallout at one point and there were like Monster energy drinks in the game. So I was being served ads and the company was making money off of those advertisements, but I wasn't seeing anything in return. And here I am paying, $60, $70 for the game and then, paying for whatever like monthly subscription I was paying for. And then really it's just like this one-way value sink where these companies are just making money hand over fist, but the consumers are not making any money for interacting with ads, for, playing with or playing the game, interacting with content or creating their own content. And that's something that we've really set out to change is, if you're interacting with our game, you're watching ads, you're, spending a lot of time, you're referring your friends, you're creating skins in the game, you should be compensated fairly for that. And I think that's one thing that's really powerful about Bitcoin is that it keeps it really, really simple. It solves the issue of like just that monetary layer, that inherent layer that's been missing from games for so long. And there's not a confusing token and this and that, that might be pre-mined or, might be controlled by a central entity. It is simply just Bitcoin. So by simply solving that, I think that's like the most elegant solution that we can offer players. And I find that by keeping it really simple and solving one thing at a time, we can offer the best product to our users and to our potential users.